Alrighty. Hi guys. So guys, I'm trying to okay, here I am. Here. I'm gonna turn up my music. How's everybody's day today? I don't know if you guys heard me before. I was acting just to make sure. How's your day? All right, let's introduce so that it's not awkward. Then we can speak about our day. So
Did answer you.
I think we all been to the Bible study. So if not, we'll just refresh. So we have Lavinia, we have Amber, we have Lana, we have Stephanie. And we're just going to, I don't know if you guys want to just, let's just jump right in. Vin, you want to introduce yourself or?
Sure, yes. Hi, ladies. My name is Lavinia. You can call me Vin or Vinny. I am Siobhan's cousin, but she's more like a sister to me. So just being here is really important, not just because of those ties, but because I really believe what she stands for. And it's really just empowering just to be a part of this today. So, and it's Women's History Month. So, woo, that's exciting as well. So first and foremost, again, like I said, I'm happy to be here. My name's Lavinia. I am a mom, a stylist. I work in the fashion industry and I have my own business as well. So, and I actually just started a little side hustle too. So, for event planning. So I have a fitness brand and now like a small little side hustle like called Vin's Vision. So it's
I
for
love it.
event and decor planning and design.
Yay.
Nice to meet you,
Thank you,
ladies.
Vin. Anyone
You're
wants to go next?
I'll go. Are we just doing what we do in our name? Okay, well.
Yeah, just so that we're like comfortable with speaking and not like, well, I don't know her. So, let's just get it the awkwardness out.
Okay, well, I'm Lana. Um, Currently, well, I used to work in retail as well. I used to, can we talk? I was a sales associate in the mall at Short Hills, but now because of COVID, not doing that. But since I have the free time, now I'm doing my podcast. I wrote a book and I also DJ, from here and there. I love music. So that's kind of what I do. It's kind of more of my speed, like my passion.
Mhm.
What else? I love poetry. I love spoken word. Trying to think what else. I think that's really it for right now. But right now, currently, I'm doing more so the podcast and music. Had a lot of free time, not because of COVID. Obviously, it's like a good thing and a bad thing that I'm able to focus on it and kind of like grow my brand and network. So it's been pretty cool. I like it. So yeah.
That's great.
Thank you. Amber, Stephanie?
Yeah, I can go next. Hi guys, I'm Amber. I don't know what to say about myself other than I work in like change management. I'm currently in corporate. That's kind of it. I like what I like to do. I like to spend time with my family. I like to hang out. I like to go to church when church was open. That's one of the biggest things I miss right now. If I'm being completely honest, just being in that atmosphere. What else? I like to go for walks. That sounds so cliche, but I try to do like 30-minute walks a day just to like open my mind, listen to podcasts, listen to different music and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm happy to fellowship. So
Love it. Thank you, Amber. Stephanie?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Stephanie. I'm Spawns, and I believe, recognize a lot of familiar faces from our Bible study every Wednesday. I am 31 years old. I'm a special education teacher. I work with students with disabilities. Of course, a believer, firm woman of God. Um, just been having a little bit of a stressful, I guess, day, I would say. But that's my niece in the background. So just looking forward to just doing this interview, this panel, and for us to discuss the beautiful women of today and how they influence us.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to take a deep breath. I had to take all three of my children to the dentist today, and extractions, fillings, and it was just like between that and drawing blood with them, it's a lot. So I have to like take a lot of deep breathing because my energy was like here and it just kept climbing because I was trying. My son, he had like the mouth garden, but he was still biting the dentist, her finger. So when she was finished, she was like, look at my hand. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, so that was my day. And I was listening to my music to kind of get me back into the zone and turn off from mom mode because it's just like, you can eat now. She said an hour and they're still like drooling and doing everything extra. So yes. Stephanie, I'm with you. Today has just been really challenging and I get it. But this is like really important because we are all women and it's Women History Month and I really wanted to do something where the message really gets out on refusing to be silent. That's actually when I Googled the topic for this month, the choose to challenge. I noticed that's like the hashtag for the month, but they didn't have, the topic was the same, refusing to be silent, but it was more geared to like voting and having the voice to vote. So I wanted to just like put a twist on it. And I love Lana. So I'm like, listen, girl, I need us to do this together. Podcast sisters. And I want it to be natural. I sent the questions. I normally don't do that because I don't want it to be like rehearsed, but I want everyone to kind of have an idea of where we're going. Plus, I don't want to take your whole night up. So we're going to get started. Does anyone want to pray us in or no? Because I normally start each podcast with the prayer, but if not, I can do that separately, and we can just get started. So it's up to you guys. No? All right. So I'll do that separately. We're going to start with the intro. Oh, I also wanted to, so if we can, I don't know, can you guys do your videos on or so that we can use a clip, and then if you need to turn it off, that's fine. Like even if we just get 5 or 10 minutes with it on, so that we can use it on both platforms. Thanks, Steph. Amber, I know you said you were like getting off. You don't have to do it now if you need some time.
Yeah, give me a minute because I had just like got out the shower. My hair's all dripping.
Girl, take your time, but when you do get the chance, even if it's for like 5 minutes, so Steph, if you want to keep yours off until then, that's fine too. Just so that we can get like at least a clip or anything, but the audio is being recorded.
Okay.
I want everyone to make sure of the background noise is very funny with Zoom. So like your phones have to be silent. If you have a window open, that has to close because it picks up everything and then it's hard for me to fade it out in editing. So, but if something happens, a child or anything, that's fine. Can always like cut and we'll just repeat on a re-record that, So that's it. I think we are ready to go. Okay. So I'm gonna just start by introducing everyone as our guest co-host for today. And then I guess you guys can just say your name so that the audience know who you are. So I'm gonna introduce you guys as the women panelists for today. And then we'll start that way. And then I'll start with the first question. Was everyone okay with the questions or anyone had any questions to ask regarding that before I start? The questions were great? Everyone's okay?
No
you have a question? Okay, good.
Right.
Steph, you're good. You're good. Lana, you're okay with the questions? You're okay with the questions, Lana? Okay, good. Amber?
My mom was
Yeah, I'm good.
That's fine. Okay, good. All right. So, before we get started, I would like to introduce our guest panelists, the women for today. I'm going to start with Lavinia. Go ahead.
Hi, hello everyone. Warriors, my name is Lavinia Graham, and I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for
Okay.
listening in advance.
Thank you. Next.
I can go. Hi, everyone. I'm Amber. Like Lavinia said, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm excited for today's panel.
Nick.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I'm glad to be here as well, and looking forward to the conversation with the ladies.
Good.
Oh, it was my turn. Sorry, it was a delay. Hi, I'm Lana. So happy to be here and can't wait to get started in the conversation.
Okay. So, of course, it is Women History Month, and we're going to get started. I'm so happy to have all my beautiful sisters with me today. And our first topic is we're going to discuss some women heroes, historical women in history that has a strong contribution, but are historically overlooked. So I don't know if you guys know of anyone, but I'm going to share my person first. I love Iyanla Vanzant. And if you know me well, you know I really love her. I think she's really inspirational. She has done a lot for the Black community, African Americans, just fix to help a lot of people heal. Whether you were on her show or watching, she gives seminars. She's done a lot. Just to help repair and to identify. And I don't think that she gets the credit that she deserves for a lot of the things that she's given back to the community. And I think that historically she's overlooked as an African American woman compared to a lot of other maybe talk show hosts and people that have similar shows as her. So that was my answer for that question. Anyone else?
I'll go. So mine is someone who we all know as Tiffany Dubois from Insecure. Her name is Amanda Seales. And on the contrary to her character on Insecure, she is an extreme intellectual. She speaks on, everything from politics to social injustice and, race and, police brutality, etc. She is kind of like a powerhouse. Like she acts, she can do a little singing. She she used to do gymnastics. Like she's Caribbean, which is cool. She just shows ultimately that women are not one dimensional. So you can be funny, you can be beautiful, you can be smart, you can be silly. So she kind of shows all of that for me, and I feel like she's just a great example of somebody that little girls or even myself, like she's just a great person to look up to admire. And I just thought it was cool how she just, was kind of like a jack of all trades. If you follow her on Instagram as well, like you might, be nodding your head like, wow, oh my gosh, she's speaking some true stuff. And then also just be kikiing and cracking up, So she kind of just shows that women, we are not one dimensional, we are multidimensional, and we can be good at many things and excel at many things and just be overall a powerhouse and never take no for an answer.
I love that. I agree with that one. Anyone else?
So I just wanted to say, I'm going to answer, but for Insecure, I've seen maybe like one episode, so I was trying to like figure out who you're talking about, but now I know you're talking about, but I do agree that I'm like, what is this show? Because everybody watches it, and I'm one of those people who like are late to the party, so.
It's okay. I was late too, and I'm so glad I showed up. I'm so glad I showed up because it's a really good show, and it's funny because I was thinking of Issa Rae too.
Yeah,
that's
what
weird.
Yeah.
But we're doing our thing. So this Women's History Month is off to a great start, and I'm excited to talk about somebody else in one of the later. Not in the show. I'm done with the show, guys. But just it's someone else that's another like TV star. Obviously, you can see where I get my inspiration from. but but yeah, we're really doing our thing. So
No,
I'm wrapping up with that.
no, it's cool. Okay, so I'll definitely have to watch some more. But for me,
You do, and follow her on Instagram. I mean, I use social media as also a platform to learn too. So I learn a lot from her page as well.
yeah. Okay, because I kind of am with social media part. I kind of am off social media. I'm mostly just on it just for the podcast and my music. So I kind of like stepped away from it. It's been
She
calm.
has a podcast as well.
Are
But
you her manager? Are you her manager?
not to stray too much. No. I'm all of women of reflection. Okay, I don't. That's it. The only one I rep right now. But yeah, just check it out. You can. I'm sure you can add it to your collection along with war.
Okay,
It's a
cool.
good listen.
So for me, I think for the question, because I was thinking about it and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do somebody who was current, who was in the past, who's alive, who's not, and I kind of just kept coming back to our vice president. For me, I know it's not like the easy answer, but I just always, have admired her for some time, and the fact that she's, African American and I believe Indian, I believe as well. Um, to me, because I'm not in politics, but I kind of follow politics like before Trump and everything. But I've been like watching her. I don't know. I just fell in love with her charisma and her stature. She's like classy, but also can be down with the cause at the same time. You know what I mean? So for me, just watching her from where she was to now being Madam Vice President, it's just gives me hope. Even during these times of COVID and not knowing what's next, and I just feel like I guess like the millennials and the younger generations have somebody else they can look up to and think that they can also be sitting in the White House as well, and not just driving by it, or their dreams can only go so far. And I believe she kind of gives off, from what I've seen, this aura about her that sounds cliche, but you can do anything you put your mind to. So for me, she's just, I don't want to say underrated, but she's just inspiration that I think a lot of people need to look at more than just seeing her as just one thing. I feel that she kind of like checks off all the boxes, in my opinion. That's just for me for that answer, for that question.
I love it. How about you, Stephanie or Amber? Oh, Stephanie, unmute.
Sorry, guys. For me, it's Ava Duvernay. She's a producer. Of course, she's widely known right now for the Central Park Five. And I was just reading about her, and I noticed that she makes a lot of films, and documentaries focused on highlighting the innocence of people and basically everything that not everything, but most things African Americans have been through, throughout generations. And I think that it's really great to have a producer out in today's day and age doing that. I know there's a lot of male directors and producers, but right now we're highlighting women, and Ava DuVernay is definitely someone to be highlighted during the season.
I agree. Definitely. Amber?
Yes, sorry guys. Hi. I would say probably, and it's so dark in here. I would probably say Sarah Jakes Roberts. She's like a favorite of mine, and especially in like a male-dominated industry. Sometimes we overlook women and stuff like that, and she's definitely someone that's gotten me through like the darkest of times, and like just her sermons are always on point, and just always something you're really able to learn from. So that would definitely be my person. Like there's still sermons I go back to this day and just have to keep watching over and over to say like, hey, did you miss something on that sermon? Or are there other notes that you needed to take? So she's definitely one of my favorites.
I'm cracking up right now because she was my the next question that I wanted to ask you guys was a woman alive today that you think will be influential for the future generation, and why do we choose these women? And that's who I chose.
Yeah,
because I'm like, she's really a great influential person, like for women, even for men, for teens who had teen pregnancies. She to this day, I listen to her old messages, I follow her new. She has a book club, she has a podcast, she has the YouTube. There's so much that I've learned from her. Does anybody else have an influential person that they think would be great for our like upcoming generation?
I would also say, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of her, Jackie Hill Perry. She's also really good. You should search her on Instagram. She has a book called, I don't want to butcher the name, but I think it's Gay Girl, Good God. I think so. And basically she used to be a lesbian. Mm-hmm. And she just went through like a really like kind of like not really knowing who she was and very unsure of who she was. And it wasn't until she came into Christ that she was able to find her identity in God. So just hearing her story is just so amazing. I really encourage you guys to go back and listen to, like, she has a podcast with her husband. They do also, Lana, you're really into like spoken word and poetry. They do some really, really great poetry and great spoken word. And she kind of just talks about her journey, and it's really nice and insightful.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
No problem. The question was, a woman alive today that you think will be influential for the future generation, and why do you choose this woman?
I feel like I'm back in school trying to think of answers on the spot. No, these are great questions, so I love racking my brain. Honestly, I have to agree. No, I'm not going to stay here. Come back to me.
Take your time. Listen, there's no wrong answers. I'm told that all the time. So it's okay. Vin, did you have anyone? I know it kind of feels like the same question, but it's really not, guys.
It's funny. It's not the same question, but it's sounding like the answers kind of, but I didn't take it that way. Okay. And I think the first person when you meant historically, like in the past or in now, you're saying like someone who's living. So
yeah.
But all of our people are alive. So
that's right. That is true.
But that's okay. So anyhow, so the second question, my answer is Yara Shahidi, which is someone else who I draw inspiration from again a TV show, like I mentioned before. The show, she's the star of Grownish. That stems from the show Blackish. So I wrote a little like something, so I'm just gonna read off of that. So she's the complete package. I put Yara embodies all the admirable attributes that a young lady should aspire to or want to have. She's a young leader socially and politically, a thinker, super intelligent. She uses her voice to uplift by speaking on topics that are world changing. And she's so young, so it's really inspiring. She's been interviewed by, the likes of I believe Oprah and also like Michelle Obama, and she's like just sat down and discussed, and she just turned, I think, like old enough to drink pretty much. So it's really cool to see, and also it's funny because the character that she plays on the show Grownish is like the complete opposite of how she really is in real life. So it's kind of just cool to see that again, like you don't just have to stay in a box, we get so like consumed into a character, or even people. When we meet people, we get so consumed in like meeting them, and then we see them as one way, like your coworkers or your teachers. Like it's hard to see your teacher outside of school at the supermarket when it's like she's a normal person, So that's just an analogy as to like how we put people in a box. So I just think it's cool. She kind of like, stretches outside of the normal like box for her age. And she's just super inspiring. I'm older than her, but she's still super inspiring. And I think she can really, influence the newer generation, the younger generation in a positive way. Again, she uses her voice to uplift by speaking on topics that are world changing and forward thinking.
Mhm.
Not to mention, she just received a well deserved award, Woman of the Year, for the
Wow.
UK magazine. So I thought that was pretty cool. During Women's History Month, she just got it. I believe a few days ago. I saw it on her page. So
I love it. It's like Vin, you give us the facts and then the show where to watch them. Like my Netflix list is getting longer. So wow.
but yeah. But yeah, it's, I mean, it's people that we see every day, and it's people that we watch these things. I feel like there's no point in taking in any source of media if it's not going to feed us in any way. So I know it just sounds like, oh, it's just a silly like TV show or something, but I really do like, research beyond, and I really do take a liking to people that's more than just their, what you see and stuff like. I like to dig deep and stuff like that. And so it's really cool that she won that this month because it's Women's History Month. So kudos to her. She's young and she's doing it.
Young, you said, right? She's really young. You said she just turned drinking age. She's young.
I think thereabouts. Yeah, she's around that age. I'm 26. I'm definitely older than her.
That's cool.
Good to know. I also want to say really quick, guys, if you don't have an answer to every question, that's fine because it's conversational. So that's okay. Whatever you feel that you want to chime in, chime in. I don't want you to feel like you have to answer everything. Okay, guys? Yeah, don't feel pressure. So did anyone else want to answer that question about who we are, or should I just move along? All right. We're good?
Yeah, I think we're good for the next question.
Okay, so we're gonna move along. Okay, yeah. So the next question, I did an open question on Instagram, and I wanted to know what my warrior audience, like how they felt and what they were thinking. And one of the questions that I asked, which I want to share with you guys, was what are some things that women remain silent about? And I want to ask you what you feel first, and then I'll let you know what my audience, some of the topics that they gave me, and we can just have an open discussion on that.
I would honestly say, I could start. I would say like sometimes like just our feelings in general. I feel like oftentimes women are meant to be not that we're meant to be silent, of course, but like in a work setting or different professional settings that you go to, it's like if a woman has a voice, it's like, well, who does she think she is? And I think honestly, if we want to get to the bottom of it, a lot of times it's like, even as African American women, when you have something to say, it's like, well, who does she think she is? Like, she's not the boss, like, why is she trying to be all assertive or this or that? Or we're given different titles and different labels. And I think that's even, and I'm just speaking from experience, a lot of times like in a work setting, I'd rather take the spotlight off of me, only because I don't want to be perceived as like, well, who does Amber think she is? And it's like, no, I just have a good idea or something, Yeah. So I think that's a really big one.
I agree, Amber. So true. Anyone else?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was actually going to say feelings and emotions things. One, because from my experience, because I've been in that situation where I'm not really good at like speaking up. I'm a very like quiet person to myself. I'm kind of like a people watcher. So if I feel like I need to say something in a situation, I will. But when it came to like voicing my opinions on anything, not like feelings and like girly stuff, but just like whatever was going on, I would try to like leave it to bring up at the last minute, and then during that time it would just blow up because I didn't know how to like voice it. So it would come off as like yelling and screaming versus like communication. For me, experience as well as that females are silenced about, as well as things that have happened in their life, like whether it's like abuse or issues or something traumatic that has happened. I feel like sometimes we're prone to not say anything, or if we are to say something, kind of like looked at as like she's making it up or she's being dramatic. And nowadays, social media, everybody thinks females are out to do the dirty work, which sometimes they are, but also sometimes they just don't have like the right outlet to to discuss it. So it comes off as they're just trying to do it just for the dollar or something like that. So I feel like it's feelings, emotions, whatnot, and as well as, dramatic events, unfortunately. I don't mean to go that far off the scale.
No, we're going as far as we can because we want to keep it 100% real here. So yes, I agree.
I agree too.
Anyone else?
I was gonna say, just kind of tagging onto what you guys were saying too, like vulnerability. I think we are in expressing emotion. We're so like we always, are expected to be strong and to hold it down and to be,
Sorry.
yeah, that's fine.
Continue
To do all things and to not, complain about it or, you know, feel tired. Like we have feelings, we can feel, but if we feel and we express them, we're, too emotional or it's like that's what you're supposed to do. And you know what I'm saying? Like being a mom. You can't really complain about being a mom or complain not being a mom, but just complain about the things that, you have to go through with motherhood because it's like, okay, well, that's what it is. Like that's what you have to deal with. And, we shouldn't really just say, okay, like you're a woman, like that's what you go through, or you bear children, so you should be, if this is to be expected, like we should be able to, express ourselves, not feel like we're complaining, but we should be able to like vent in a safe and open space, without being judged and without feeling weak. Like we should be able to be vulnerable because I feel like too often we're especially being Black women, when we say anything, it's like we're complaining and we already have to work 2 times harder to be better at everything, so it's a lot, but that's really it. It's just knowing that it's okay to express the vulnerability. And I feel like we tend to silence ourselves, not that necessarily that people are purposely doing it, but or intentionally doing it, but I do know that I have a tendency to not really express myself when I'm feeling vulnerable because we're like the strong one. You know what I mean? I know everyone has that, like they're the strong friend or they're the strong family member. They seem to have it all together, or they usually have it all together, but it's like, no, it's okay to say, hey, like today's not a good day. Doesn't mean you're weak. Doesn't mean you've, failed, but just knowing that knowingness of like, it's okay to feel that way and also express that way. It makes you strong, if anything, because you can restore and you can, get back to the way you usually are. So just, I feel like that's something that we definitely do silence ourselves, that weakness, that vulnerability when we're feeling it, because we want to come off as strong because we're expected to be strong.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. I think that's also like a big reason why it's so important that we have community. Because you can get weighed down by everything you're going through, and it's like, yes, you're not looking for a therapist in everyone. No, I'm not saying that, but it's so important that you can have like a sisterhood. You can have these talks and say, hey girl, work today was hard, it was stressful. Like you're allowed to be real with people, and you don't have to put on a mask. Because I don't know, like for you guys, but when I go to my corporate job, sometimes it feels like, you have to wear, I don't want to say like a mask every day, but there's some days where it's like, no, like I'm frustrated and I don't have the ability to be frustrated, because when I'm frustrated, it's perceived as like, oh, Amber's mad. Oh, Amber doesn't like the team. Oh, Amber doesn't want to be here. And it's like, no, can I just is it okay if Amber just has a bad day? Like, but when other people have a bad day, it's like, oh, hey, like, do you need us to send you something? Like, are you okay? Like, and it's just like, no, you need a group of friends that is like, girl, I just need a vent. Today was stressful. No, I need to go for a walk. Like today was stressful. Like
it's true.
You need that. And I think that's so important, especially as females.
Yeah.
1,000% agree.
Anyone else want to touch on that before I share my opinion?
No? One last thing. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, don't be sorry. Just chime in.
Because I was thinking about when Amber and I don't want to butcher your name,
Vin, Vinny, Vin,
Yeah.
Lavinia.
And
Yeah, okay, 'cause I'm one of those.
you said it right, Lavinia.
Okay, when you young ladies were speaking, I was thinking, as well as feelings and with the workspace, because when I was back in retail, I worked in Short Hills, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with New Jersey. That area is very expensive and predominantly white, and people in there would come in with an attitude already, no matter what store you were in, they just were whatever. And with the mask that Amber was talking about, I would have to put it on, sometimes not knowing it, sometimes doing it, or as I say, like the white voice or the white girl voice, or whatever you want to call it, to be perceived as not just, I don't want to say like not as equal, but just as, you know what I'm talking about. When you're in certain stores, people look at you a certain way. They don't know if you either work there or not. They don't know if you're like doing stock or something. So I had to deal with that too, kind of like tread lightly on what side of the scale today I should be on versus having my feelings, like on my sleeves. Because, like I said, in retail, you gotta, talk to everybody and sell everybody. So I kind of had to like step out of my shell, but not come off as like all up in your face. So that was like a work in progress. And even with the stuff I'm doing now, it's at home, but still doing things. It's different. It's a step. It's a work in progress, at least for me, because how my personality is the complete opposite of somebody who's like that. So that's all. I just want to say like those 2 cents.
I love it. What in posting this question, and hearing everyone's comments, which was awesome on the platform. What I was trying to figure out, in this posting the question, is to see if we all felt the same way, and to get that like such a great response from everyone. It started to make me think deeper, and I'm like, wow. So my question to you guys is, do you think the silence behavior, that I don't know to call it behavior, or the way that we are as women, do you think that's a learned behavior, or that's something that we just naturally do? And then if it's natural, like, why is that?
Like to stay silent on certain situations, or just
Like certain things, why do we remain silent in that instead of utilizing our voices? Is that something learned as women?
or
I'm gonna, Lana, if you want to jump in. Okay. I'm gonna say honestly, I feel like sometimes it's like a culture thing. If I'm honest.
Agree.
Yeah.
We're kind of learned to like, no, sit back. Like, you don't have the best idea. Your thought is not better than this male, or your thought is not better than this person. So it's like, if you're told that over and over and over again, as a child, and like, hey, I mean, even when you're younger, your parents may be like, oh, hey, you like, your opinion doesn't matter. And it's like, well, you're told that constantly as you're a child, your opinion doesn't matter. You grow up, and then it's like, wait, I can have an opinion? Like, no way. Like when did this start? So I always think it's good to say, like, no, let a child have an opinion. Like, if you're like, something as small as, where do you want to eat today? That lets a child know, like, oh wow, like what I want to do kind of matters. I'm not telling your child to go run rampant and all that crazy stuff, but it's just like, hey, what do you want to wear today? What do you want to do as an activity with the family today? That really teaches them, like, oh wow, like, I have a voice, my opinion is going to matter. And then when they grow up, you're able to more express yourself. You're able to use that, and talk about your different opinions. So I definitely think it's something learned. And I think that's something that we all have to work on.
I agree. And just to change the stigmatism of it, because it's important for our children. It's important for the community. I'm sorry. Are you done? Okay. I know. It's important for our children to, I think it starts with the self-worth. I remember growing up, being raised in a Caribbean family. You're limited to so much. So it's like either you're a teacher, a doctor, a nurse. Like, if I said I wanted to be an artist in paint, it was like, well, you should try something else, or make that, it was kind of knocked down. If I didn't want to do teaching, I don't want to be a nurse. No, I don't want to be a doctor. And that made me feel like, all right, well then what to do? And then they put it on you. or you need to learn how to cook. You have to learn how to clean because these are the requirements it takes for you to be like a good wife. And it's just like, but what if I don't want to be a cook? Which I'm not. I'm not the cook. I can, but I prefer not to. You know, like I just feel like we're limited in what we can have our voice in. For me growing up, I was very limited, and it was because of the dynamic of my home and being raised in a Caribbean household. That's what it is. Like you get that box, and that's where I had to swim in. So for me raising my daughter and my sons, it's like, listen here, speak up. What is it that you love about you? Like I try to teach them to kind of know within themselves and not give them the answers or feed them, and let them kind of sort through that, you know, so that they don't have that same dynamic that I had to grow up in. That's so important. So good one, Amber. Anyone else?
Well, because I have to go, before I jump, I just wanted to say, like, and I guess before I go, leave you guys with some encouragement, especially for me, like, sometimes I also feel like it's my own insecurity because of the way that things were, you know, maybe when I was younger or just anytime. So now what I try to do is like, Amber, who's making you feel like that? Like, is it the audience that's making you feel like that? Or is that yourself? Like, if there's something that's like, let's just say you're asking a question, Chevy, and I'm like, okay, well, I know the answer and I want to say it, but like, I'm afraid people are going to look at me or they're going to judge me. It's like, well, those people may not even be judging you, you know? And even if they are, is that your own insecurity where you're thinking those thoughts in your head? And then like, you have to get a step closer. Like, how can you just forget about that? Like, you know, it may be as simple as like, oh, you want to post something on Instagram or social media, and then it's like, no, this person might say this person might say this person might say that. But it's like, by you posting, you really may like hit the nail on the head for somebody. So don't let your insecurity, like, there's people connected to what you have to say, and those people that need to receive what you have to say, 1,000%, I promise you, they will receive it. Like 100%, they will receive it. And the people who aren't, they won't. Just let them go. Like, that's fine. And I think I'm saying this as I'm speaking, saying this to myself as well. You know, just be more secure in the voice that God gave us. You know, if he's called you to do something, if he's told you to do something, just don't be scared about doing it. Just walk in confidence and walk in boldness.
So true. And I think that's important for us just in general. Not, it doesn't have to be a woman thing. It's just in general as humans, we really, and I think what it is because it becomes a negative trait. Whoever put that on you probably felt that within themselves. So that's why I believe, like, when I started to think about the question, I'm like, wow, how did it start? It really, it's probably a negative trait that someone felt within themselves. So now because of that, they shine that light on you, and now it's something that you develop now to be negative within yourself. And it's important that we make sure that when you're saying that, when people tell me things, I always have to say, wow, where did you get that from? Or what did I do to make you see that about me? Like I need full details on it so that I can see it and then say, well, you know, I don't really see that about myself. Or maybe you're right. Maybe I can look and kind of reflect a little bit to see how you got that, you know? So yes, I agree. Anyone else?
Yes. I great input, ladies. That was everything. I was just like, yes, speaking all facts. But I feel like it's, in addition, I feel like it's society. So culture, yes, but it's just society in general as a whole. Like, we're women, we're taught, you know, we're taught gender roles growing up, and to be, like Chevy said, in the, again, back to the culture and in the household, to be basically domesticated. So cooking. Bye, Amber.
Bye, Amber.
I didn't want to just jump off without saying bye. So thank you so much, Chevy and ladies. And whenever you have the next one, invite me.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
All right, bye.
Good night. So just picking up where I left off, like we're kind of raised to be domesticated. And yes, it does have to do with culture. It's society as a whole, though, with gender roles and everything. Like you said, growing up, just cooking, cleaning, and being a good wife and things like that. Like we're taught to be in a box and not like a powerhouse. We're not taught to be a leader. We're not taught to that transcends beyond the household. Like, yeah, you know, the woman of the house and she does everything. She runs the household, but like beyond that, we're not taught beyond that.
That
We're
is
not
true.
we're not taught that. Like we're naturally taught to dim our light. And I feel like to break out of that, that's when we have to realize like we just become so powerful when we stop dimming our light for others. I think society naturally makes women dim their light. It's like just generally in the workplace, anything. I mean, just a little. It shows up in small things, you know. I don't know. Just like I'm backing out. I'm in a parking space. I'm backing out. A guy runs over and he's like helping me. Like why? Why? But like why don't you why do you but that's what I'm saying.
Go
Would
over
he
there. I got this.
would he have done that to a man is what I want to ask. Like would
That's
he have done that to a man? Why do you assume that I don't know what I'm doing? Why do you assume that I'm not and I can't do it well? Like it's you know what I mean? It's because the stigma is that women can't drive and like men, you know, like things anything to do with like an automobile. Like I was at the dealership the other day and getting my car and it's like, you know, I wasn't really asked many of the questions in the beginning. It was my fiance, and it's like then they realized like, okay, she kind of knows what she's talking about. Then they started kind of gearing towards me. It's like, you know, why are we just put in such? It's 2021, and we're still. It's like women don't know nothing about cars. Still, it may not be my strong suit. It's not my favorite, but you know, as you get older, you learn things. But that's just a small like analogy to show like we're just still to this day like we're just shrunken so small, you know. So just not to be mindful of that I feel like it is society and we have to really like push through and push and like she said speak up anyway, like push past that silence, push past that fear to feel like okay, you know, okay, maybe I shouldn't, or what are they gonna think? Like, no, like we really, it's like we're trying to put our foot down for things that we should just naturally, it should just be that way, if that if that makes sense.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
we
true.
should just naturally be treated equal, like our male counterparts. But
Yeah.
no, everything has to be like this, you know, huge groundbreaking effort, and it is sad, but we have to do it. We have to speak up anyway. We have to, you know, speak up at the car dealerships. We have to um what was it what you said
You
earlier?
backing out the car.
No, not what I said.
I love that one though. I was like, I didn't think of that. I didn't even see
Yeah,
that as a little
I didn't
shade, but you're right about that. We got
yeah,
this.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have a backup mirror. Actually, I have the camera, okay, in the car. You can move, sir.
Right, I got it. Oh, and that was what she said. I don't see
Amber.
the name,
Oh,
but Amber. She said earlier, like I'm gonna post that post. Like I'm gonna, you know, just basically put my foot down and in any of these avenues that we feel like we're silenced. Like we have to really like we can't just say okay, whatever. Like yeah, I know how to back out, whatever. We can't brush anything down, or yeah, I know, like okay, it's not that serious. It's just a post. Like no, it's even in those little things, whether it's just an Instagram post or just backing out, like we have to really put our foot down to show like who we are and what we're made of. Because if we can do it in these little things, it can be definitely, it'll be much easier to be done in, you know, in big things, like you said, like Madam Vice President, you know, so things like that and stuff like that. Like it really, and it's also inspiring. It's also very inspiring.
I
So
agree.
because if a woman sees another woman doing it, it'll give her, you know, some inspiration to do it herself and know that okay, she, you know, she transcended this and look how much of a success it was. So maybe it will be successful for me.
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely true. But with the when you said about the backing out of the parking lot, I just wanted to say something real quick about that. You said, like, how do they know that we can't really drive? Like, we're so. But on the other side of that, what if? And I think I mentioned this on my episode last week. Like, what if he's just trying to just like help? Like, I know we're so like, what do you really want? Like, why are you here? Like, there's like an underlying reason. But what if? I mean, now people nowadays people are kind of all whacked out, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
Trust everybody, but it's just like, what if he's just trying to like help? Like, I know we think, oh, he's doing something nice, or oh, she's doing something nice, but there must be a reason. Like, what do they want? And I know I've been there in that situation too. I'm like, I got this. And I don't even know you at the same time. Like, where are you coming from? But like, I'm just curious as to like, why are we, not you, but as females are so like trying to like dig past like what could actually just be like a good deed or
Like
something.
what it is.
You know what I mean? Like, not you personally, but just like as a
I'm a
female.
vibe person. So like I got that vibe. I just got that vibe. But I mean, there is that. Some people could just be doing a good deed, but then you also have to play devil's advocate and think like, okay, but if that were a man, would he have done it?
Yeah, that's true.
You
No,
know, you have to kind of, you know, play devil's advocate there. So that's just it's just the things that I'm glad we're talking about this because it's the things that women go through. That's a daily battle for us. Like, are they just being nice or like are we being insulted? Like we, you know, it can go either way. You know, that is another battle that we deal with. So
like, where does that come
we're
from?
always in our head as women.
But like, where does that
That goes to show you we're always in our head.
Oh, Lana, you're kind of low, so I hear you, but I don't hear you.
Can you hear me now? It's like delayed. Can you hear me now? Or no?
Yeah, but it's also like a little low.
Like me or the volume? I can turn
You, I think.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's better.
My bad. What was I saying? Oh, like where does that come from though? The thought process of, like I said, us thinking that there's just more to what is. I guess it's maybe experience, maybe social media. Because I know for me, when people try to do nice things for me, I'm feeling like, why? Like why are you doing this without wanting nothing? And I don't. Maybe it's just past experiences. Maybe it's just trusting and not trusting people because of what they've done, or not being so, I guess, open with people. But I just wonder, like, where does that come from as females that we're always feeling that there's a reason behind like everything? I don't know.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that's a root that stemmed from something. And it could be because you probably had an encounter with someone who you was like, all right, thank you. That is so nice. And then they did a 360 and it was just like, so now you go with caution with to everyone, you know? And I feel like I've dealt with that on both ends, in the workplace, in the family, in relationships. So now everybody gets the same Chevy, like the caution Chevy, because I don't want you, no, don't help me if you have a whole list of expectations after, you know. And that's it. I know for me in the workplace, there are times where I have like my male coworkers that would say things and be like, nah, I got you, don't worry, you're cool, and then they start to get out of line. And then I'm like, you see, that's why. And then I'm mad at myself, I'm down at myself for, thinking, all right, well, I took his word and I didn't want to be so mean because he said he got me. And then now you're disrespecting me, because would you have, spoke like that to your another male coworker? No, you wouldn't. So I think it's just, as women, it's hard. If we're nice, then they take advantage. And then if we're not nice, then we're called all these names. If when we set boundaries, they're just, like, it's not respected, it's not received. So we go forth with just boundary. No, thank you. Sometimes we just got to be that way. I'm sorry.
Now,
just let them cross that bridge.
So they know what's up from the beginning.
That's right. Because then if they cross the bridge, it's another Chevy on the next side waiting for you. It's not the same one.
So I definitely see where my backing up example could sound like that. So here's another example that which will back that up. I'll keep it short because I don't want to, take over too much. But so I work in a warehouse, and of course we get shipments. and it's clothes, it's apparel. Some are heavy, some are not, but it doesn't matter because I work out. I'm a fitness junkie. I lift weights. Like, there's nothing, whatever. I take the shipments. It's so funny. Pretty much 90% of the drivers, I have myself and my male coworker. They want to help me. They're like, oh, I'm going to help you. And I just take the thing. I'm like, no, I got it. Like, I just take it. But it's like, he's right next to me. And he's not asking, he knows what I'm capable of. So he's not asking, hey, like, let me help you. Like, but the driver, the delivery driver they always offer the help to me. And I just think it's funny because it's like, what makes you think, if anything, I probably bench more than my coworker who is a male. If, if I work out more than, I know I work out more than him. And it's not a competition at all. It's just what makes you just assume. It's just the assumption that, like women, we're strong. We are not little fragile weaklings that don't want to roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty. Like, don't just assume, I may look well put together from,
Yeah.
to an extent as much as I can at work, but, I can still like roll up my sleeves and, I'm capable. That's all. That's all. We shouldn't have to scream, I'm capable. Like, we should just be seen as that. That's just all I mean. Like, we should be seen initially. And then if you see me, I'm struggling with the box, then help me. Sure. Why not? But don't just assume that I don't have it because I'm a female. It's really insulting.
I agree. My question to you though, what would change that? If they ask a general question to both you and your male coworker, like, hey, do you guys need help? Would that change that dynamic for you?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Because okay, it's a lot of boxes and it's only 2 people. Then that would be different. But if you're only asking me for help to unload, then only me. It's a little like, yeah, I don't know. Just maybe try to see if I have it first. Because that's like not a part of their job. They don't have to help, they just have to deliver. And we unload. So just to give you a little context. But that's really it. So I just, want it's Women's History Month circling back, and I want more males to kind of change their view and their perspective. I hope this month kind of opens their eyes to changing perspectives and the view on women. Like, yeah, I got my nails done, everything, I got jewelry on and stuff, but like, just don't assume.
I can lift a box too.
Exactly.
I can lift a box with long nails and jewelry. I agree.
Right.
So I'm gonna move on to our next question. Steph, I didn't know Steph, is everything good? If you wanted to join in or tag in, just unmute and speak. I don't, you're busy. So the next question is, and if you guys have an answer to it, was share something you have dealt with and become silent about. What was the outcome? And then I'm gonna stop right there because I don't want to keep digging. So what is something that you have dealt with and became silent about? I'm gonna start. When I was a child, there was a situation where my sisters were, I guess, a fast-paced learner, and I was a bit slower. One of the situations, so it was something that made me very insecure-ish, I guess. I never spoke about it because I felt like in my mind, I had to challenge myself to always be fast because they were great. And I would hear my family members or my parents, my father would say like, well, your sister's good and she can do this quick, and your other sister's good and she can do it. Like, you need to be quick. So that I was silent about, but it was very hurtful, and that it ate me alive for a lot of years. So I never really, like Amber was saying before, I wasn't the type to speak out for things. And I wasn't the type to volunteer myself because I remember that I'm not the fast-paced girl. I'm not the smart girl, because I always had that comparison to my sisters. And that was the outcome of that for me. Anyone else?
For me, it's probably kind of compares. There we go. Can't speak to yours. With me, they labeled me I can't speak.
Dyslexic.
Dyslexic, Lord mercy. Yes. In school because I was a very slow learner. And I didn't know if it was I don't think I was slow. I just think I wasn't a fan of school. Like I didn't even up until college. Like I never understood the point of going to school to learn about people who already are dead. Like I can like learn on my own. And so I would never focus or pay attention. So I guess they labeled me as that, and I would always have to have extra time on the standardized tests and be in a separate room and be in the the special classes and blah blah blah. And I'm like, how is this helping me? It's just like diminishing my self esteem even more because one, you're like um, in the little extra class, you're on the small bus, and you feel like everybody's looking at you because they're waiting for you to finish because I was always the last one to finish the those standardized bubble taking tests. But I think just because my brain was always moving a mile a minute, and I don't know if it was ADHD or just maybe I just couldn't focus. So they kind of just like labeled me as something, and it was throughout school, like elementary school, middle school, high school, and even in college. I had to have certain classes, so I kind of had that over my head throughout all of schooling. And even now, sometimes when I'm like reading or doing something, I'm a little slow to come to the plate, and it kind of really messed with my self-esteem because I would be like, well, why am I here and everybody else is finished, or why can't I ever get, you know, good grades and everybody else is like on honor roll dean's list and stuff like that. So that for me was just something that I still had to deal with. That's why I'm not going back for my master's, even though I'm kind of like contemplating because I'm like I don't see myself putting myself through that again because I know I'm going to have all these special accommodations, and it's just like when am I going to like grow out of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's just something that I've been dealing with. So I guess I have that, but I just maybe think I just didn't like school. It could just been that. I don't know. But that was something I was dealing with from like 8 years old till when I graduated college, like 3, 4 years ago. So that's just something for me. And I kind of um, led into how I interact with people, speaking up, not speaking up, quiet, shy, excuse me, shy and stuff like that. So it kind of plagued in like all of the aspects of my life that I thought it wouldn't still to this day because I'm 27 now. So it's just a lot. But yeah, just to sum it up in one big little bubble, that's mostly my little thing.
So I one of the second part of the question, right, is to reflect on taking a different approach. And I want you because you said you're not going back to doing your master's, but I feel like you went through a bachelor's, an associate's, a high school diploma. You've accomplished so much, no matter what label or what accommodations you needed, you did that. So I want you to not limit yourself because of that and see it as a support, and that's okay because everyone learns different. Don't compare yourself, don't feel like I'm different because I need that extra support. Girl, if that support got you a bachelor's, it can get you a master's and a doctorate too. And I'll be at your graduation saying, whoop, whoop, you did that. You set the bar high for everyone. And don't feel bad. For me, after going through that as a child, I am like now out of this cocoon where I cannot be quiet. I was the one that I'm like, I'm not speaking. I'm so shy. It's like, I never wanted to like, I don't know. I'm so shy and it's so crazy because look at me today. I have a podcast. I'm learning so much about myself. Yesterday, me and Vin, we had like a family day and this lady was doing like yoga. And she was like, go. I was like, I want to join her. So I'm behind the lady like this. And Vin's like, Chev, that looks weird. Like, stop it. So I'm like stretching with my arms up, doing everything that the lady's doing like this in the back.
From like 15 feet away. She just looks like she's way far from just imagine someone way ahead of you. You're just mimicking all the moves. And I'm just like, you look crazy. Why don't you just ask to go and join her?
So
and I'm proud of you because I know years ago you would have been like, no, Minnie, no, I'm
no, I would have just sat down and said, forget it. So speaking about refusing to be silent, we walk up to the lady and we were like, is it okay? And I think I said it. I was like, is it okay if we join you? And she was like, sure. And I had so much muscle and body aches, with my body going on. But I'm so happy that I asked, because I kept saying after, I felt so much better. And I walked away. I don't know if I was happy about the workout or the fact that I utilized my voice and I asked and I spoke up for myself. And the little girl that always felt like she couldn't do it because how I would sound to, everyone else, that girl is gone. I have a voice, it has value, and that's my reflecting and taking a different approach, moving forward in my life now. Like, all right, if I sound crazy, I'll put it out there. Hey guys, I'm a little crazy. So if this sounds weird, that's just me. I put the disclaimer. Okay. That's what you get with Chevy. So I want you to try that too, Lana. You got this, girl. And I'm going to be at your graduation, doctorate and master's. Okay. Right, Ben? We'll be right there.
Yep. With posters. Woo!
Oh, too much.
Vin, do you have anything that you dealt with and became silent about?
I'm just gonna speak on a general sense and not like a specific experience, but just being shy and being quiet. I was a shy kid, literally shy to the point where like I was at my mom. I remember specifically, she asked me, she's like, "Do you want to dance? Like take dance classes?" And I was so shy. I said no, but I would dance my butt off in the room. And like, I wanted to, but I just, I could, that was too much. Like, what do you mean in a group setting? Are you kidding me? No, but that's my passion, like to this day, like that's what makes me happy. So just kind of generally breaking out of that, like pretty much what you said, Chevy. Just finding your voice, being more vocal, even at work. Like I said, I'm not going to speak on specific experiences, but at work, I'm the only African American, not female, African American, period. So just certain things, I kind of, not kind of, but I did stay quiet about. And it's an athletic brand that basically it is the demographic of their customer does not look like me or us, to say the least. So that said, some of their marketing and things like that, like just if you guys can kind of catch where I'm going with this, they didn't really, it wasn't inclusive. It wasn't inclusive. And then I feel like just before, years ago in my workplace, like I would just stay more quiet about my ideas, and be less outspoken. But as I got older and like found my voice and realized the power in my voice, and that like, yes, I can, and why the hell not? And who's gonna tell me, like why not? Like I deserve to have the voice and to use it. So, just this past month or so, they had typically, like I'm saying, the old me would have not said anything, but this past month or so, they had a campaign, and one of the African American little girls was not represented well, and I spoke up. It was very hard, but also very easy at the at the same time. It was just because it was a difficult topic, and I didn't want to be seen as like, again, the difficult, angry Black woman that we get stereotyped as. But I felt so good after, and I didn't care who I made uncomfortable because I was more comfortable.
Exactly.
I didn't care about whose light, whoever else's light, because mine was shining. I wasn't going to dim my light and stay quiet, and because I had the voice and I had the urge to speak up about something, and it felt so good after. And I was able to give knowledge to those. Some weren't really all that happy about what I had to say, but I didn't care. And some were, embraced it, and some, it was a learning lesson. It was a teachable moment for them. So that said, just having your voice, being more vocal, and making, using your voice to make change and have a lasting impact. Yeah. So that's really what I reflect on as like, wow, like that was a small moment, but it meant so much to me because I utilized my voice to make change. And they actually said, moving forward, we'll do this differently. And moving forward, oh, thank you. And I was thanked. And, you know, people were kind of sort of, I'm sure I inspired, and although it wasn't said to me, I'm sure it inspired someone else to maybe speak up about something, maybe in their life or in another situation. So that's that. When I reflect on it, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah,
So
I'm proud of you too.
using my voice, just being more vocal in general.
I agree. Steph, did you want to speak on that?
Hey ladies, sorry for my sound. It's a little bit noisy and busy on this end. That's why I'm not showing my screen and I keep it on mute. But yes, just like Lavinia, I was and still semi-shy woman. Especially growing up, I could just remember in grade school, like I knew the answer and I just didn't say it. I was just like, oh, I know this. And then when somebody else said the answer, when my elementary teacher said it, asked the question, I'm just like, darn, I should have spoke up, or I should have shared this idea. But I have to say that I've grown, I don't think completely out of it, but I have to say that I've definitely developed in that area where I am speaking up, especially in the workplace, professionally, of course, where I'm sharing my ideas and I'm becoming more involved in committees and you know, given my input where I would just be like, all right, my classroom, my students do my testing, and that's it. My classroom was like my perfection zone. If I could perfect that area, I'm good. But now I just find myself speaking up and communicating more, not just being limited to the classroom, but also joining, I would say about like 4 different committees now, actually, at work and also in my personal life. Like whenever an argument would, whether it may be with family or with friends, I would just be like, all right, okay, more passive, just like, but then I had so much to say and I didn't say it, because I was like, you know what, I'm not here for the confrontation. Lord, let me just pray to you, forgive me, I forgive the person, and that's it. But I was still a little bit boiling inside, you know. And I realized that communication is necessary in life, and to speak up, and to express yourself respectfully, of course, because you would want someone else to do that to you as well in any given situation. um in addition to that, I yeah, that's it. I have to thank God for that, for just like, speak up, my child, speak up. You know, even there's times when he'll speak for us, he'll defend us. And there's, you know, all we need to do is be still and know that he is God, right? We don't have to do much. We just, you know, especially in a storm, we just, you know, we're just still. We don't know what's going to happen. We're in fear, we're in worry, we're in anxiety, but just be still, my child. But sometimes we do have to activate the gift that God has given us and planted inside of us to defend us, but also defend him and the power that he has put into us, right? But yeah, sorry guys, that was a whole conversation.
No, I love it. Thank you, Steph. And I think I needed that even as a mom. Some days I feel like I can't tell my family that it's too much, or I feel like, well, I'm on this journey, I'm on this road, I got to be this super mom. And I'm learning this year. I even asked Vin, I'm like, I need a day, I need a restoration day where I'm restoring myself. I just need that moment to be able to face and deal with them again. And that's important, that's okay. And I like that, the advice of just kind of, God knows our hearts, so it's okay in that moment to be still and to know and tap out too. We don't have to feel that we have to like have this strength. Let's use our voice, because that's strength too, even when we're tired. And saying I'm tired, that's okay. I just want to share some of the things that the warriors shared on social media, about things, as women, that we are silenced about. So infertility was one. The stigma and harshness that Black women face when they talk about, you know, infertility. That was a good one. Another one was depression and insecurities. I think that's a deep, deep one. Something that I'm relatable to. I don't know about you guys. Chime in and say amen.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, definitely. I thought that was a good one. Another one was feeling safe during emotional expression. A lot of people tell us like, don't cry, hold your tears. You're too strong for that. Don't show your kids that. Like, yeah, no, it's okay to cry. Our tears have, I tell my kids, your tears have a voice, but I need you to tell me the words, you know? So that's okay. It's okay to cry. As long as we understand why we're crying and just not crying just to cry. Of course, emotional abuse, discrimination in the workplace, pronounced sexual harassment in the workplace, abuse, physical, verbal, domestic violence. There are so many great things. And thank you, Warriors, for chiming in on this conversation on my social media page about this. I think that was really great. So I would like us to talk about what are the benefits of refusing to be silent? Because now that we all shared a situation where we were silent and kind of now we're using our voices, how can we encourage others that there are benefits when you stop and speak? Don't feel that you have to stop and keep it in. Let's use our voice. So anybody wants to start with what the benefits are?
I do just real quick.
Go ahead.
The benefits, it was two questions in one, so I'm gonna try to remember what you said because my mind was like already thinking of an answer. First part to it is the benefits is closure. I mean, I know it's like a big word, and sometimes it takes
Wait, I didn't hear that. It went low. The benefits is what?
closure. Can you hear me?
Closure.
I'm sorry. I have like on like 100, but it's like rickety, so I'm gonna put it up a little bit. Let me see if I
Yeah, now you sound better.
right here. I'm good.
Oh, much better. Yeah.
Yeah, my computer is rusty. So, yeah, so I was saying the benefits of it is closure. I mean, I know it's a huge word and that does take time to get to that point of whatever the situation is. Closure, and I know it sounds cliche, but you do feel better when you finally speak up on whatever the situation is. Like I said, it could be something small like your feelings were hurt to something that happened in a relationship or when you were a child, and talking about it and having somebody, listening to you and not judging you. 'Cause that's really what it's about. Having somebody you can voice how you feel or what happened about without having that fear of feeling that what you're saying is going to be looked at as different or weird, or if you say something they're going to look at you differently. Because I know I'm like that too. Like I don't want to say certain things that are like too deep or like too dark that people kind of like move differently after they hear it. Like they tread lightly on trying to have conversation with you. And it's no knock against them, but some people just aren't built to handle all the information at once. You kind of got to like ease the conversation into
Right.
topic into the conversation. Sometimes
True.
people want like the basis conversation relationship versus like, so how's your day? Oh, my boyfriend broke up with me and I just got run over by a car. What? All I asked was how your day was. Like some people don't need that, and I feel like closure, having that weight lifted off your shoulders, and as well as you getting a peace of mind, because that's a powerful thing to lose and also get back. So I really feel like those three things, at least in my experience, and just people to like take away to voice up on things that's happened. Closure, peace of mind, and just finally getting the weight lifted off, so you can move on with your life and not have this thing hovering over like every decision you make. That was like a really big answer, but
No, that was great. Great points.
Yeah.
Anyone else has benefits of refusing to be silent? Well, I'm going to share my answer really quick. The benefits for me as I think a lot of my silence came from trauma from childhood, trauma from relationships. And if you know me personally, you'll know the depths of that. I shared about my relationship with domestic violence and me not having a voice, me not knowing my worth, me not knowing how to love myself. So when I decided to do the work and understand what a healthy relationship looks like, and not a relationship with someone else, but a healthy relationship for myself, with myself, loving myself again, understanding who I am, that allowed me to understand the value of my voice. And I think what it is that we're so used to, because if it's something that you've grown in and raised in, you don't know that it's a brighter side on the other side. So the reflection part was the journey that I took to kind of understand that wow, this is not okay. Like I said, I love to write. So in my writing, I would read and I'm like, whoa, I just went through that. Whoa, that happened to me. And it was sad. It was like watching a Netflix movie, but I'm the star in it. So, with that, I'm able to kind of stop. I'm able to redirect. I'm able to identify the things that I needed to work on. And in that journey, I feel much lighter. I always tell everybody it's the best diet ever. I am able to identify the things within myself that I can utilize my voice in and not utilize it in anger, but in a healthy way to advocate for myself and for women around the world. Hence to why we have Women of Reflection today. So I don't know if anyone else wanted to chime in on benefits of refusing. Nope.
Sure.
Okay, go
I'll
then.
get short though. Just the benefit of refusing to be silent to me means um, that power. Like we regain power and we feel, kind of like we're on top of the world when we are able to be, expressive and vocal to others and have them receive it, and then make necessary change if there's, change that does needs to be made. So that's basically it. Having your voice can make change, knowing that it can make a lasting impact. It's kind of like the saying, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're quiet, you could be blocking so much blessing, so much opportunity, and just so much, again, power and confidence, and just who you are could be on the other side of that silence, like who you really are, who you deserve, the best version of you.
Yeah. So Steph, did you have anything to say on that, or I can move on?
I agree with everyone, especially the portion with Lana saying about closure.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna do my closing because we kind of go over. I don't want to take everybody past 8:30 in 2 minutes. So the closing question is, with having a female vice president and seeing a change in history, how can we encourage all women to value their voices? And I know that we just talked about the benefits of refusing to be silenced, but I just want to leave the warriors and our audience with at least one phrase, or just like a quick empowerment I guess term on how the importance of the value in their voice. So anyone wants to go first?
I do have something, but I need to just say the question again because I need to.
Yeah, no, girl, no problem. So the question is, how can we encourage all women to value their voice?
Okay, so I have to encourage them to. And I'm not really one to speak on this because I'm like still learning to do that. Like, that's why I have the podcast. It's helping me, one, with my shyness coming out the box, and two, with my public speaking, because I'm not really good at public speaking or voicing it in a way that doesn't seem like I'm like annoyed or badgering. But I feel like people should try and just try. I mean, it sounds kind of like basic, but just try. Just take that extra step to doing or saying something that's kind of like, stepping out of your comfort zone. It's weird at first because it was for me doing it too, because I would rather do it on audio and not people see my face. But just to try, just to take that step, that leap of faith, and just step out of your little bubble and just try and say something and see what happens. You may fall, or you could get great results. I just feel like we should, as women, as leaders, as warriors, as you love to say, just to try and, go like a little step further than what we're normally used to. And I feel like sometimes it works in our favor, and sometimes it might be a little weird, but in the end, at least you can say that you tried to, take that extra step. Hopefully that answered that question.
Yes.
Okay.
Then anybody else want to chime in before I give my answer?
Sure. I have two things. So what I usually have been saying to myself is, and I said it before in this episode, is don't dim your light to brighten someone else's. And you can interpret that in any way that you want, but absolutely, we tend to shrink ourselves so that we can make someone else feel maybe more comfortable or whatever the case may be. So don't dim your light. That was the first one, was don't dim your light to brighten someone else's. And then the second is, I actually saw a screenshot, or I actually saw a post on Instagram that I screenshotted, and I just wanted to read it to you guys. And in this case, it talks about playing too humble. And I feel like it was very relatable to the podcast, because to this particular topic, in that being silent. So in this case, it's not playing too humble. I'm gonna take out the humble for the word silent to make it match the topic. So it says playing too humble. Again, I'm scratching it for silent. So playing too silent will have you overlooked, underpaid, and underbooked. Sometimes you gotta talk your move like you it, and remind people who you are.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Ben.
You're welcome.
Steph, did you have anything to say, a phrase, or not? I'll keep going.
Yes. So the phrase that, when as I was thinking about it, that comes to mind is you matter. You're here for a reason. So that means your opinion matters and your idea matters. So always share out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's key. So if you disagree with something, with any matter, you can express that respectfully. And if you have an idea in any situation, you can express that respectfully as well, because you matter.
I love that. And I wanted to end with I don't know, something that I think about daily. I always tell my, even in my teen support group, that your voice has value. And no matter what, I know everybody has this kind of dream from when they're young how their life should be. But some of us in our journey, we make U-turns. We have mountains thrown at us, rocks, hurricanes. There's so much things that shake our life, and it may not go the direction that we dream of, but anything that you've experienced in life has value. So with that being said, I like to give the analogy of a plant and thinking about sowing the seed, and each journey and everything that you face in life, sow that seed, because that seed has value. It can grow up to be a sunflower, it can grow up to be a rose. Whatever plant you sow, it still grows to be something. And I want us to kind of think of our voice that way. Don't hide it, don't bury it, but use it as a seed, because no matter what you've experienced or faced in life, our voice has value, and our what we've gone through can definitely make a difference in encouraging someone else. So if we keep it to ourselves, it's really no benefit, but helping someone else and telling them, look, sis, I've been through this and this is the journey I took. I'm praying for you. I'm here for you. We need to really support, not look down, not hide, not cover, but really just use our voices to be the seed to grow, and not just for our community and our age group, for the young girls that are in the generations to come. So thank you guys for tuning in, joining in, and being my guest panelist for this Women History Month. It's important, and I'm happy that I have you guys as my sisters to make a difference for women around the world. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I am going to stop the recording. And that's it. I thank you guys.